Daredevil is haunted by his past, and shockingly, Deadpool's going to help. Welcome to the Complete Story Series, where we take trade paperbacks and single issues and we break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then we read it dramatically back to you. All alterations to the panel, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. This is one of those older stories from the 90s. Daredevil takes a dive into the city down below. The city is a bit much for him, with its smells sputtering upwards from the festering alleys and every fugitive vibration ricocheting off of the glass and steel canyon. By diving down into the streets below, he's hoping that the rush of adrenaline and the blood rush will clear his head, because Typhoid Mary is back in town. The problem is that Mary is like the sirens from the Odyssey. She can drive a man insane with a few notes from her song and captivate with a glance, a toss of her head. She took Daredevil over the edge, and he fell hard. What he did with her, his pride won't allow him to recollect, but it was a long time ago and he's gotten better now, stronger. With her in town, Daredevil thought that he'd be able to track her down by visiting her old doctor's office, but the smell of dead hit Daredevil even before his radar sense kicked in. Multiple individuals were killed and strung up with ropes from off-site, indicating Typhoid Mary thought about this ahead of time. In the back of his head, Daredevil can hear the sirens warming up for their big number. It's coming soon. Meanwhile, across town, Deadpool just blew up a cab driver's cab with a rocket launcher. He grabs the driver and he holds him up. "You were trying to cheat me! Drive me and my friend around town to rack the price up in your cab." Cab driver finally admits to it after being tormented by Deadpool. "All right, I admit it! I thought you were two dumb hicks from Wisconsin!" The mob begins to form around to watch Deadpool work, and they agree, telling Deadpool things like, "String him up! Run him over with his cab! I'm from Wisconsin, we make cheese." Okay, I don't think the last guy fully understands what was going on. Deadpool lifts the crying man back up, and now mob justice will be served! Noogie! But Deadpool isn't in New York to torment cab drivers. Meanwhile, at the law offices of Sharp, Nelson, and Murdoch, a telegram delivery guy shows up and begins knocking out the guards and marching his way into the building, demanding to see Mr. Nelson. Foggy shows up and asks what's going on, and the telegraph guy reads the message. "Roses are red, windows are glass. Take me to Daredevil or I'll gut you, you fat!" And Foggy's dog growls at Daredevil, interrupting him. Matt Murdock walks in and sees the whole ordeal going down, and he can smell the gun oil, explosives, and latex that is Deadpool. And then using his radar vision, he sees that Deadpool is the delivery guy in disguise. He lets Deadpool drag Foggy over to a window where Deadpool jumps out yelling, "Exit stage right!" And then Deadpool catches a rope and begins to scale the side of the building. At the roof of the building is Weasel, until Daredevil shows up and gives Deadpool a hand getting onto the roof. As soon as Deadpool sees that it's DD and not Weasel, he tells him, "Hello, DD. So am I the only one who feels awkward or what?" Daredevil isn't amused, and he asks Deadpool why he's here. Deadpool explains that he's trying to get DD's attention because Typhoid Mary is back in town and she intends on murdering everyone who was looking at her the wrong way. So he figured that he would get a hold of DD so that he can help out an old friend. Daredevil is confused. Friend? Typhoid Mary is no one's friend. The woman is a plague. She is all that is chaotic and hurtful in human nature. Without her other personalities to keep her in check, she will break you, burn you, and dance on your ashes. Yeah, ain't she dreamy? Deadpool says with hearts forming around his head. This isn't a joking matter, she's a monster. Maybe we monsters tend to stick together. Daredevil leaps off the building telling Deadpool he'll bring Mary to justice, and if Deadpool wants to run back up, that's fine. Oh, this is gonna be a barrel of laughs, Deadpool says, firing a grappling line. They make their way to the house of the judge that put Mary away, where they both begin their own investigations. Daredevil wonders why his own heartbeat has gone up a few notches. Is it because he let a known killer watch his back? While Deadpool is hanging upside down in the garden calling out, "Oh, Mary, come out!" Mary does hear him and pulls her sword on Deadpool, pressing it against his throat. Then, she leans in to kiss him through his mask. Meanwhile, Daredevil has found the body of the judge and is closing his eyes. He checks the body temperature and decides that they missed Mary by about 12 hours. Then he hears running water and is curious if Deadpool is taking a bath. Mary has turned on the water so that Daredevil can't hear them because, as she says, you'd be surprised what he's capable of. Then they go over the plan. As it turns out, Mary hired a Deadpool to get Daredevil here, then set up Redman. So he asks Mary, now that he's here, is she gonna finish him off? Mary tells him that she has some loose ends, and Deadpool questions that. She tells him that Daredevil wasn't the only one who used and abused her, so she's going through murdering all of them. Deadpool cringes. "Hey, that wasn't the deal!" And then he grabs her. "You psychopathic witch! I didn't sign up for this! I didn't agree to come here and help you on a murder spree! You said you were after Daredevil. He's a player, one of us. These other chumps? Who else do you plan on whacking? No more civilians, I promise." Alright, fine. Then Mary gives Deadpool something to remember his lines. A hole in his gut, as Daredevil finds him bleeding out on the floor. Deadpool tells Daredevil that Mary spilled the beans. She told him about the judge, the docks, and her next target. So if Daredevil follows Deadpool, they'll find her. Deadpool takes Daredevil to a building and they scope it outside. Daredevil is trying to decide his next course of action. He can hear the murmur of an army inside, the clink of guns, blades. There is enough to take on a small country. Deadpool just wants to know who is going to yell spoon as they come charging in. And then regardless of knowing that it's going to be a trap, he jumps in. They go to town beating down the soldiers, and then Deadpool grabs a gun ready to open fire until Daredevil hears the click of a gun and he tells him no! They will not get dragged down to Mary's level. Deadpool informs him that he's kinda had that on lockdown already. True, but if you kill them, it's pro bono, Deadpool. Deadpool blocks another goon before explaining. Do you think I'm a purist or something? I kill a lot of guys for a lot of reasons. Looking at me funny, which you do, talking down to me, which I've noticed you're prone to do on occasion. And sometimes I like to go off on people for looking like a blind man dressed in a, wait, that would be you too. Deadpool pauses. Come to think of it, if there's anyone in this room that I was destined to kill, it would be you. Sayonara, sucker! And Deadpool throws a knife in Daredevil's direction. Dee sees the knife coming and he drops to the ground in a hurry to dodge it, letting it land in the stomach of the guy behind him. You're welcome, Deadpool shouts. I aimed for his spleen. Eventually, Dee and Deadpool take out the last of the goons and they run upstairs to meet Mary. As Dee runs into the room, Mary begins blaring music, overwhelming his senses and dropping Daredevil. She walks over and begins kicking Daredevil. How are you? The job? The girlfriend? She keeps hitting Dee until he finally struggles to get up and return a punch that is stopped by Deadpool. Daredevil can't believe it. He's been played by Deadpool, and Mary finally explains what all of this is about. Daredevil made her what she is. She was working in a brothel when a young kid came in looking for revenge for his father. The girls all jumped at him trying to stop him, and he lashed out, throwing one of the girls out the window. Daredevil grits his teeth. I thought I killed you. I've been wrestling with that for years, but you're alive. Yes, I'm alive. I forgot about that until Deadpool kicked me out of a window and helped me remember that day. I realized it was you, Daredevil. Now accept your responsibility and die. Daredevil stands up. I utterly refuse to accept responsibility for what you've become. How dare you, she shouts. You caused the fatal schism. You made me. Daredevil dodges her, telling her, no, I didn't, Mary. What I did was wrong, but it was an accident. Then he started to respond by hitting her back with his moves. But was I there when you pulled your first trigger? When you took your first life? You made those choices on your own. No, you took my choices away. Bad things happen to everyone, but we all don't lash out at the world because of it. Then Daredevil knocks her out. She hits the ground defeated and begs for Deadpool to kill Daredevil for her. And Deadpool tells her, sorry kid, it's over. He kneels down over her. Time's up, Dee. Good job. Is this the part where you try and escape? No, that'd be cliche. Believe it or not, Redman, this has been one big therapy session for her and you played your part just fine. You knew that this was gonna happen? No, I didn't think she'd go after anyone but you, so there were a few hitches. Deadpool begins to walk away with Mary and Daredevil asks why he did this. Because Mary was after the wrong demon, and I had to help her see that. Yeah, team! Daredevil grabs Deadpool by the shoulder. I'm not gonna let you walk out of here with her, Deadpool. She's a killer. Give it a break, Hornboy. Dead bodies aside, you got as much out of this as she did. For the first time in your life, you know for sure you aren't a killer. And then Deadpool fired a grappling line and left the scene. Daredevil goes back to the rooftop across from the club, and he reflects on the whole thing. He isn't a murderer. And because of that, he heads home smiling. This is an oldie but a goodie story, guys. And if you want to talk about it, follow me on Twitter at Comicstorian, on Instagram at Comicstorian, or don't forget to check out our gaming channel, Eligible Monster Gaming, where you can find gaming comic books and various other things like Let's Plays and unnecessary censorship. You can find the link to that down below. I'll see you guys next time right here.